All right, hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Comment allez-vous? Good to see you. Wasabi! All right, so it's Monday, October 22, 2018. Another good day to be live, another good day to be a currency trader. Pretty quiet Monday. That means we have an opportunity to make money without being disturbed by undue volatility and such. So I recommend that we go through the dollar pairs and the yen pairs. We can take a look at the calendar quickly. Oh, hey, don't forget, this is a good time for me to remind you, please subscribe. If you subscribe to the Forex.Today channel, when I click the stream button, it will notify you and bring you here if you want to attend. So it saves you time and effort, keeps you involved. Also, please ask questions either in the chat live or type in your questions. I guess it would be over there if you're watching a recording of this. I do read those comments. So, like, for example, if you want me to cover Kiwi Swissy for some reason, just leave it in the comments. I'll try to get to it. And also, hey, please visit, wow, I'm really trying these camera things today. Please visit tradersway.com. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist, and I invite you to come check it out. Fast execution speed, competitive spreads, world-class customer service. I don't know what to do with my hands. So without further ado, let's go. Yes, so anyways, nice to meet you. My name is Wayne McDonald. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for tradersway.com. Been a currency trader now 15 years, and I'm still in love. I'm still with this business. I'm still passionate about it. Before Forex, I was a venture capitalist, so I've reviewed quite literally thousands of business plans. There's no better business than this. There's no business like FX business, like no business. I mean, look, very, very low startup costs if you think about that. Do you need millions to get going as a currency trader? No. No accounts receivable, no accounts payable, instant gratification, just wonderful stuff. In fact, I'm interested in it because it's the purest form of business that I've ever come across. And by pure, I mean money is your product, money is your service, everything is measured in money, and not by days, but instant. In fact, even if you have open positions, the profit and loss is floating. In a lot of other types of asset classes, your P&L is not floating. You're not mark to market. You just have some undetermined value. So anyways, the Forex business is just the purest I've ever come across. And things like the fact that you do earn interest and you earn leveraged interest, I think is very interesting. Culturally, some people are against it. I understand why, and it does make sense. But if you're going to earn interest, this is the best way to do it. So I don't know. There's just so many things that are fascinating, and I kind of love being, global macro focused, right? And unfortunately, I have to take a micro class in the spring, microeconomics. But I took the macro class, and holy smokes, was that a hard class. And the funny thing about that is I've been studying macroeconomics for 15 or 20 years, and I walked into I'm at Harvard with these 20-year-old kids, and they whooped my butt. They whooped my butt. Dude, these kids are smart. Holy crap. So anyways, without further ado, let's do some trading, huh? Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. Jimbo says, can't live off 10 trade accounting. Yeah, well, that'd be a terrible thing to try to live off $10,000. Yeah. So you might as well have a plan that doesn't involve throwing the $10,000 away, because if that's all you have and you need it to live on, taking risky bets is definitely not the way to go, right? So if I were me, I would save my money and build up my skills instead of losing the money. Alex, which models like solo growth? I remember. Actually, I thought it was really interesting. I disagreed with a lot of it. Dude, there were a lot of models. That's the only one that comes to mind. Sorry. Yeah, so Jimbo, I wasn't in a situation where that was my issue when I joined Forex. I was just promoted to vice president of our firm. We had about 300 employees. We just moved into 2 floors of a skyscraper right next to the San Francisco Fed. Down beautiful location, and so my problem was quitting my job to become a full-time Forex trader. And to get to that point, which was a couple of years minimum, it was an interesting thing because I wasn't trying to make money. I was trying to learn. Already had money. I was fine, I was fine. So it wasn't like I didn't need Forex for fame. I didn't need Forex for wealth. I kind of had a little bit of all of that. So I was looking at it because I was interested in it. So I took it very seriously for a few years. And then my ultimate question was, am I doing well enough to quit my job? And you got to remember, I loved my job. Okay. So I think if I were you in that situation where you can't live off the 10 grand, well, I'd say, well, what can you do? How can we leverage the 10 grand? And by leverage, I don't mean jack it up. What I mean is like, what if you spent 3 years building a track record? What is that worth? If you could take it to somebody and say, I have real skills, real marketable skills. I'm a great analyst of the foreign exchange market, macroeconomic, central banking policy, and such. So I can predict the future, right? And I have trading skills, so I can implement a strategy and make money during all kinds of periods, right? Is that worth $10,000? Is it worth more than $10,000? What's the net present value of the 3-year track record? Probably pretty good, pretty good. I mean, it depends on who you show it to, right? Farrell says, did it make more money than your job? And it had some to do with that. And the way I looked at it, because when you have a job, you have benefits and such, right? And you don't really have risk with the job. So I kind of got to a point where if I'm going to quit my job that I liked, it needs to pay me more than my job to compensate me for the risk and my additional out-of-pocket expenses. Now, I didn't have to commute anymore and all that kind of stuff, which I was happy with. But so to me, I had to make more. And also the other point was I loved my job. It was a very interesting job. So that sort of had to be compensated for as well, right? No, I know, Jimbo. Right, right, right. No. I'm not beating you down, Jimbo. I think it's an interesting discussion. But anyways, we should just move on. But let's go here. Right. So, anyways, um, yeah, I would focus on building the track record because that's worth. It could be worth $1 million too. You like the black, huh? Oh, appreciate that. All right. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So what do we want to do with these yen pairs? Do we want to start with CAD? Let's start somewhere else. Let's start. Let's just start with our news trade setup. Nobody said it was easy. So here's the opposite of that. Okay. Okay. You should see that bears already had their chance. Look where we ended. Let's go to an hourly chart here. Where we ended the week. Not unpredictable, huh? Seems to make a lot of sense. What were bulls supposed to do in that area? Hmm? What is a bull supposed to do? See, a lot of people look at that and say there are bears. Well, we don't actually know that. That might be true, but right? That there might be bears here, but we don't know that's true. What we do know is there are bulls. They did exactly what they were supposed to. They took profit. And what are they supposed to do now? Well, plan A for them is to buy here. Plan B is to buy here. And plan C is to buy it here, but that's a little too low for comfort, right? Okay. Now, let's say if you were a bear and you did sell there, okay, you're already in. This is kind of what I'm getting to. It's a risky play, but definitely playable. Right? It's not that you made a half court shot. It's not likely to go in. It can go in. Players have made the shot before, but they typically take the shot at the end of the at the end of the half. So, anyways, you just make sure you're doing it in the right place. So, anyways, you could do this if you were a bear. Sure. Usually not the right time. So bulls sort of have this. If you want to take it north, there's plan A, there's plan B, and I don't really even want to. I don't want to even mark down plan C, because I just don't want to hit that. I don't want to see that. If this is going to continue, and remember, I prefer to be a trend trader. Okay. And of course, on the long run, I wouldn't mind the Canadian dollar gaining strength and the US dollar weakening. So I kind of want this to go down, but that's not really in the cards at the moment, right? Now, if this sort of double tops and lower lows, then we'll bring it around, right? Oh, you need to know the number? It's just a pivot point. Yeah, I can't see the number two. What do you need? Just open up your 4-hour chart, and just below that, you should know that it's the green zone. Yeah. But that pivot line, red and green. Well, I didn't mean to, but yeah, I mean, sorry, that sounded really bitchy. You should just download the template. It's in the template for my charts are in the link is in the description. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, so you're saying more on the smaller time frame? Well, that is fine as long as you know where we're going. So if you're on like this chart, you're purely tactical, which is fine, but just you're driving a car without a steering wheel, sort of thing, right? So you have to decide first, where are we going? And if you're still a bull, even though we're doing bearish stuff right now, down, 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 up, up, sell, down, 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 up, sell, I would still wait. I mean, look, if you sold up here or you sold up here, okay, that's fine, but we're talking hours later now. What do you do now? If I were me, I would wait for an opportunity to go long. And my prices are here and here, okay? But should you be selling now? No, no. If you wanted to sell here, right, you should have sold earlier, like London Open, or on Friday. Okay. Okay. La 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 la. And look at this, just trapped in the sideways motion, right? Just trapped. Just trapped. Nothing more to say. Now, it's really too bad because Asia had a great trading session, huh? So, unfortunately, it hasn't translated in foreign currency moves. So typically in a great Asian trading session, like the Aussie dollar would would appreciate and the yen would depreciate. So Aussie yen would skyrocket, but it didn't do either. So now that we've done CAD, let's take a look at oil. If you remember, last week we had a sell here or sell here trade plan. Okay. Now what do you want to do? Well, you do have permission if you're a bull to start looking to be a bull. Okay. And this is interesting, right? That's the price you'd want to go long if you happen to be a bull. Now, we're not in a bullish move yet, so you're taking on additional risk. So wouldn't it be nice if you got a double bottom near that before you started buying? Okay. And where would bears want to sell? Well, bears want to sell here for sure. You can see the role reversal. Okay. And also you can take a shot about here. Okay. So 70 bucks. So if you're a bear selling around 70 bucks, or the other one is around 71, I guess. Sell at 70, sell at 71, something like that. Okay, and then we hit our target from 3 weeks ago. Isn't that amazing? So perhaps that's where we go. Now, if we do want this to go up, remember on the long run, I do want this to go up, right? I'm actually okay with it kind of going up where we are. It's not amazing support or resistance, as you can see. I guess I can just delete that. But it's a support pivot. Now, typically, I don't look to trade a support pivot, but But I guess, well, if you're shopping while hungry, that'll do, right? So good enough. I don't know. Why not? We certainly don't have it now in the cards. That doesn't look bullish to me. But if it turns bullish and you are a bull, then you have permission to take a shot and drop a stop because you are close enough to support. You see what I mean? Gold hasn't come up, hasn't gone down. Okay. It's not really at our support. Okay. Remember this blue line I put there, which I have now here, right there. So that line I put there is like, you might recall that I wanted a bigger pullback down to this lower gray area, down to this roll reversal area, base right around 1200. I wanted it closer to 1200, but I put this blue line. I said, look, someone might try buying it there. You'd have to be extremely aggressive and all that kind of stuff, and I don't think I would want that. You know, I want the lower move. But you notice that it did come down and hit and went back up. Now it didn't make a higher high, but interesting enough, it did come into play. Now I prefer a minimum of 382, right? I want a 40% drop before I even think of it, right? 40% discount before I even consider buying. Okay. If you're an investor, a professional investor, how often can you overpay for an asset and still make money on the, right? How often? How often, if you're an investor, should you overpay for an asset? The answer is probably like never. I mean, your job is basically to get things at a discount, right? Buy low. So even if you are bullish, you still have to say, well, my job is to get a deal, not to pay full price. So my deal here is I need a 40% discount before we can even start negotiations, right? And that's what a 382 Fibonacci retracement is. You're like, I know where we are, and I think I know where we're going, but before we even talk, I need a 382. I prefer 50%, but I'll take a 382. But this stuff way up here, no, forget it. I was listening to an interview over the weekend. This old guy, he's made billions, for his firm and himself, I'm sure. But anyways, he was talking about that there's never a bad asset. He said when he first started as an investor back in the 70s or something, he bought all the best stock, right? He only bought the best companies, the highest quality. And he said he lost all the money because everything was overpriced. So he said after 5 years, there was a hiccup and everything came down and he lost everything because everything was overpriced. Everything was in these top 50 stocks, right? And he said, so then a few years later, he had another chance at a bank, I think this time, and they sent him to basically the toxic asset department, So he was buying debt from basically near bankrupt and sometimes even bankrupt companies. He was buying their debt, but he was paying, 8 cents on the dollar, and he made a fortune. And he said it was a major learning experience for him. So it's not necessarily the quality or how fancy or how flashy your investment is. It's the price you paid for it. Right? So you always, no matter how much you want to buy gold, your job is to get a discount. And then you better be sure it's going to go up. So we kind of talked about that last week. All right, it broke to the upside, but until I get this pullback, until I get the retracement, I'm not interested. Take a look at, this is pound dollar. We have this going down or down. It's funny, we had this going down or making a higher high and then down, which is pretty unusual. This is a pretty straightforward trade, right? Lower low, lower high. Let me get rid of this. Maybe I can just recycle it. Let's repurpose this. Okay. Lower low, lower high, roll reversal. This whole gray area is a sell zone. Down she goes. Now, if you were putting together a, so this is just a roll reversal, okay? If you were putting together a swing, you were hoping for something up in here, okay? So, gone. Yeah, they're gonna what? Fire Theresa May again? So, anyways, I want you to look at this and say, oh, well, it's just the double top. Right. That's truly what this basically is, right? So, what was it, 2 weeks ago? I was hoping it would come up and actually touch the double top and then drop. So if you remember, I had this way up here. Predicting, yeah, it could make, it wasn't predicting, it was more like plan A, plan B. Plan B was it comes up, makes a higher high, slams into this double top, and then collapses. Well, it almost did that, okay? Down, 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 up, up, sell, down, 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 up, sell, okay? So the next stop should be about here, don't you think? Maybe I'll just do this. What do you think? Smell like a plan? Right, so anyways, this is where we would go and get the next hiccup, so to speak. The role reversal, Stephen says, it was far from the weekly. Well, I suppose it depends on what you mean by far, but right, that's subjective. But did it, was it perfect? No, it was not perfect. Okay. What about last week? Okay. So if you're a front runner, you got it. That's why it didn't come back. Okay? If you're a bull, you should get ready. Because this ain't funny! Right? If you're a bear, well, you had your role reversal. Okay? Bulls, you should get ready. Bears, we're snoozing if you're not on it. So you got to decide what you are. I hope you can see, right? This is a very straightforward resistance area. Pachow. You can measure it any way you want. You could even make it more perfect. Okay. You could, I mean, I'm just looking at this and these touches. I mean, it's pretty close, right? Either way. So, are you treating this like a double bottom, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low? We didn't really want it to come down this far, but it did. Okay. The Friday front run was way down here. Okay. Not perfect. Pretty dangerous, actually, but nonetheless, you can talk yourself into it. It comes down to what do you want to do next. Now, on the long run, like a year from now, I'd love to see euro dollar higher. Okay. And you would expect euro to be a little higher, right? So again, the European session was pretty good. The Italian banks were downgraded, but there wasn't a crash, so to speak. Okay. Kev says head and shoulders. I'm going to pick on this, and I think what you're saying is this, 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 this. So let me draw that and then talk about it. Let me know if this is actually what you meant. And technically it wouldn't be head and shoulders. If you drew it this way, it'd be a crown, but whatever. Good. Good, Kevin, because let me finish my tirade on this, okay? This is not a head and shoulders, if that's what he was talking about. The reason I say no is because a head and shoulders is a reversal pattern, okay? And this isn't a downtrend, or sorry, this isn't an uptrend, so you can't have a head and shoulders like this. It would be more of a downtrend, if anything. And in that situation, it would have to be inverse. All right, cool. So good answer on that, on the no. So let's try to find it. Let me kill this first. All right, on a 4 hour, what did you see? Yeah, so once again, even on a 4 hour, I don't see it. You know, the other issue on the 4 hours, we're range bound. We're moving sideways. Now, maybe you're talking inverse, but no. So anyways, we're just bottoming out at support, guys. That's all there is. Okay. No head and shoulders. Okay. And inverse, no. Still no. Okay. Let's move over to the yens. It's in the description below. The link to the template is below in the description area. Okay. Okay. So this is what we've been predicting. Rolling over, right? Then we had the higher low, sorry, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Do you remember when I drew this channel? It was just to kind of be a general guide, but we were still pretty far up here. This lower low, lower high were all guessworks. And the other thing is, I drew the channel. If you did break out of the channel, you could use it as a breakout type strategy. Now, it was so long ago that we drew this, right? You know, let me even get rid of the swing. Pretty nice, right? Now, the other thing going on here on the Beast is that on Friday Swing Trading Group, we had this as the short. This gray area is the short. Right here. So even though we'd gone up for, 16 to 20 hours, so even though it was green for 20 hours, this was our sell price. Cool. Okay. So I drew this, I don't know, Wednesday or something. So I drew this a long time ago. I didn't draw this on Friday. But okay, this is the thought process. Okay. So maybe it keeps going. Where would a bull buy this is what you're asking? And I say that's a really good question. They're going to buy it here off this bottom. Okay. So this little spot where we are right this second is where a cheeky little bull is thinking about getting their trade on. Okay. So they're thinking down to here and then up. So if you're a bull, you need to wake up and smell the coffee, right? What do you think? Right now, it looks like catching a falling knife, huh? So what would make you want to buy this? Okay. Remember, don't freak out. The fact that it's red candles is irrelevant. Okay. If you're a bull, all you recognize is that you're at a price that you're interested in buying, right? So it's more definitional, right? You sold pound yen now? Seriously? That'd be a terrible trade if that's true. Eloise? 3 comments, no response. Well, I look at the chart most often, Eloise. Yeah, oh, in the gray area, okay. So don't turn, how does it go? Don't turn your back in anger, Eloise? Pound Swissy. Okay, yeah, I'm happy to do that, Eloise. Okay. I'll do that for you. Not right this second, but next even. All right, so anyways, let me go back to this. Let's say you're a bull. All we know right now is it's coming down toward your price. That's great. Okay. So like amateur traders, they just freak out about the movement. I guess they freak out because they have no idea it's going to happen or that it's happening. It must be very exciting. Anyways, if you're a bull, all you need to do is say, oh, well, this is about right. This is about the price I'm looking for. Then they say, well, time of day. All right, well, it's fairly close to the New York Open. All right, this is a time of day I typically like to buy. Okay, great. Now ask yourself, what technical entry do you want to enter this trade? Like, okay, you got your price, great. So now what? You don't like the fact that it's dropping precipitously, right? So you're like, Well, how would you feel if it double bottomed here? How would you feel if you got a 21.55 cross up? Any thoughts? Would you feel different about it? I love the whole feel thing. Would you feel different about it? What was this pound yen? Okay, all that kind of stuff. So this is funny. I just have a different plan here. So okay. Anyways, at what point do you take it if you were going to take it? So don't turn your back in anger. If you have your price, this is where you wait and you ask these types of questions. If I was a bull, do I like to buy it like this? If not, and I was a bull, knowing that I'm at my price, then what would make me want to buy? What would I look for? What would I like to see? What would put me in? What would make me, right? Okay. And that's the right attitude because you know you have your price. What I fear is, there's people like chasing this, and then they'll turn and go the other way, and they'll chase that, right? Chase, 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 chase. And chasing is not the right way. So like, how do you sell this? Is the next, is another great example. Well, that's the sell area that I identified last week. So imagine you were chasing this long, all right, and yet the whole time we were waiting for it to come up so we could sell it. So now that it's falling, someone else is now deciding to sell it, but meanwhile we're waiting to maybe buy it. Okay. So yeah, so Raymond says, well, how about if it double bottomed and then a higher high on the 5 minute? Yeah, okay. That kind of stuff is what you got your price, right? Now that's great. So now you need a technical entry, technical or tactical entry, right? Your strategy would be you think you're a bull and you want it to go up. So tactically, you got to find your well, the bullishness just gives you, the ability to pick out prices you'd be interested in buying it. And then tactically, you use technical analysis to analyze whether it's a good opportunity or not, right? Okay. And if that don't work, then what's your plan B, right? Let's see, I'd almost even have my plan B down here. So that might have been last month's plan. How funny is that? So anyways, yeah, so now if plan A doesn't work, I got another plan here. I got another plan down there. Okay. And you just move on to the next one. Okay. All right. Pound Swissy. Let's scan the pound. Okay. So we already had this planned out. Okay. So I already have it planned out. Yeah, it's already totally planned out. Going to a smaller time frame here. Now, I was hoping this wouldn't have gone as high, so that should give us some caution. But it revisited the top of the channel. It's more of a 786. So this screams that it's going to get held up here. Because really, is it really this? I wouldn't call that a 618. And this kind of look, right? So let me zoom in a little bit more as well. Okay. And where were you supposed to swing trade this if you were a bear? I'll give you a hint. That's what this gray area is. So I might have done this for the swing trading group. You can see this is clearly a sell zone. We had it on Friday. It was a sell zone. It gapped down, retraced back to the sell zone. London Open, off the sell zone. But this whole gray area, let's see if I can grab it. I can't even grab it. Okay, this whole area here, okay, that's the sell zone. So let me clean some of this up. Maybe it'll be easier for you to see. Let's get rid of the fib altogether. Okay, so you can still see the channel. So you can see being a bear ain't that stupid. Bear, 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 bear. So being a bear here is not that terribly complicated, right? But as far as the swing trading strategy, this is absolutely, totally, definitely, unequivocally the sell zone. Right? How do you get an invitation in the swing trading group? Oh, you can email me, Kevin. Yeah, there are 2 or 3 other people that have requested to join the swing trading group, and they say that they've finished the training course, which is fine. So you email me, Wayne at FX Bootcamp, and I will create a coupon code for you so that you'll join the group at a prorated discount. So you'll pay the same as everybody else, but since we're 1/3 done or something, I think, what are we on, week 7? So anyways, I'll discount it appropriately for you. So Wayne at FX Bootcamp. But remember, you have to go through and complete every video, like literally click complete at the bottom, or I don't think it'll let you buy it, right? Right. So make sure we're on week 8, Rin? Right on. Okay, Kevin? How much? Well, if you need to ask that question, that tells me you're not ready. So don't worry about it. This is just for the people that are already ready. All right, guys. Oh, sorry. Oh, man. I have a monster week this week. Just absolutely epically monstrous. So this weekend, with the one coming up, so on Friday, I'm flying to Cambridge. I'm spending the week with someone from the New York Fed, and we're going to debate universal income. So last year, I worked with her on debating the minimum wage. So now it's universal basic income. So I have 150 pages I need to read this week, on top of my homework for my 2 classes, on top of work, on top of wife and kids and all that kind of stuff. I got to read these 150 pages. I have to write 3 papers, and then I have to show up and work my butt off all Friday night, all Saturday, and I mean all Saturday. Like, I'll be up to midnight working on this stuff, and then Sunday, and then I got to fly home and then catch up on my other 2 classes. And by the way, I'm now technically on the dean's list, and if I got one more class, advanced statistics, which is really a tough class. And if I get an A in that class, I graduate as an A student on the dean's list. But that's a hard class, so I'm really I think I'm going to get 2 tutors to tutor me through. Anyways, yeah. So anyways, Ross is like, socialism is great until you run out of other people's money. So I obviously am opinionated. So going and debating these things with talented people is a fascinating thing, and makes me proud to be at Harvard. And then of course it's in Harvard Hall, which was built in the first one was built in the early 1600s, and it burned down in like 1710. So it's the new Harvard Hall. It's only 60 years older than the United States. So anyways, yeah, John's like, yeah, tough class. Oh man, so it's worth fighting for. So yeah, so universal income, is it a good idea? Well, I'm not qualified to answer that quite yet, but anyways, this is what I do with my free time, guys. Hang out with someone, there'll be probably 12 of us. I mean, it's not big, right? Like 12 people debating universe. But the thing is, it's been proposed a few times in Congress, and it's coming up more and more as we move into European style socialism, aka Canada. So, anyways, we need to, the Illuminati, right? Veritas, wisdom is the truth through wisdom. We need to debate this. So anyways, so there we are, guys. It's funny, like, so what do you do now? Well, since I've already laid out an incredibly detailed plan, if you couldn't possibly sell it now. I mean, you were supposed to sell it way up here, right? So what do you do now? Well, the target is here. Let me adjust this. This is the first target. So you can't buy it. It might bounce here. Okay? You see what I mean? That's why you can't sell it. You cannot sell it. We know that. That's just done, right? Factual. Okay? So maybe you buy it there if you're a bull, or maybe you buy it down here if you're a bull. Of course, buying a low is a little bit dangerous, but the fact that you're hitting your weekly target early in the week, well, that falls within the rules of engagement for swing trading, right? Okay. Right on, Raymond. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I want to do something nice for the MetaTraders group too. And I'm just pulling my hair out, man. Pulling my hair out. Trying to breathe through this week, anyways. So, pachow, 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 right? So maybe it bounces here, maybe it bounces lower. You cannot sell it. Selling was here and here. So there's the Friday sell, here's the Monday sell. So, so that, I forget who asked about, can I analyze? Is that Luis? Yeah, so like, that's it. Maybe it's doubtful, but maybe you buy it here or maybe you buy it there. But once again, you need to set up tomorrow's trade, right? Kevin, there's a lot. That's a tough question. Like, why do I still do them? First of all, I love doing them. I like being a public speaker. I like helping people. I'm also an only child. So it feels good in the sense that I like to be surrounded by people. And I don't like being alone per se. I like being alone, but how do you say it? Like an only child sits in the corner, has make-believe friends. Mommy's off to work all day, right? So you're my invisible friends, right? Instead of me playing with dolls, look at all my invisible friends, right? So I like being surrounded by people, but I also like being able to walk away and being alone for hours on end. But I like being showered with admiration. I mean, if you want the truth, right? Why not? I'm feeding an ego, right? I mean, it's true though, right? So there's that. Um, there's an element of I've been doing it for so long, I don't want it to end because it's just then what, then there's I don't know. And then there's this element of I do get better as a trader. I mean, you have to also reverse engineer this. I'm training myself as much as I'm training you, right? It keeps me sharp. It keeps me interested. It keeps me motivated when I read things. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I will, share this with the group and all that kind of stuff. Um, I don't know. It's just really good in many ways. You have to also, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. Like, why did I even start? And the reason I started 15 years ago is when I did quit my venture capital firm and become a full-time Forex trader. Um, I went through pretty quickly, like within 6 weeks, let's say, I started to go through a bad period. And I analyzed this as much as any other business opportunity, right? Of risk and all this kind of stuff. I just never thought I would have a bad period because I traded for years and I was good. So I'm like, this is great. I'm going to quit my job and I'm doing great and I'm just going to keep going and everything's good. I'm going to have up and down periods is normal, but like bad periods was just like, well, why would I never had a bad period before kind of thing. I don't know. So anyways, I went through this really tough period. And when I think back to this time, I remember it in black and white. And it really was black and white because I was trading in the middle of the night. So back then in California, I traded from 10 o'clock at night to 10 o'clock in the morning. And so it was quite literally dark, especially in the winter and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm in my little home office and I had a TV, like a CRT TV, like no joke. I had a mini TV. Totally 1980s, right? Except, well, it was not 1980s, but just imagine LCD screens were new. People would come over like, you have a flat panel? Not like, right? I had two, and then I had 3 screens. People were shocked. Where do you work at, NASA? 3 screens was amazing. 2 screens were amazing. I'm not joking. LCDs, they were like crazy expensive. And over there I had a TV so I could have a TV going, right? Just amazing. Just Amazon.com was a startup. YouTube didn't exist yet. This is when I started trading, guys, right? Right? So anyways, so I started trading, and about 6 weeks into this, I stopped doing well. And in fact, I was doing poorly. And I stayed in this rut for quite some time. And it was very disturbing. And so I thought about it. Like, I tried to figure out what was going on. And I won't go into the big story because many people have heard it, but I realized I wasn't treating Forex as a business. And I needed a business plan and all this kind of stuff. And I thought to the basics, though. Even before I decided I needed a plan, I went to the basics. And I said, okay, this is Wayne McDonald. I'm not used to, not failure, but lack of success. Like, I'm just not used to it. So my past life, when I was a venture capitalist, what did I do? When I was advising startups, right? I helped other people raise millions of dollars and stuff. So what did I do back then that made me successful? so on and so forth, right? And what did I when I ran an organization of 3,000 people and sat on a board of directors with George Soros? What led me to that success? And every time I thought about it, I was successful because I was surrounded by very successful people, very talented, driven people that basically pulled me pulled me along, pushed me along. I was dragging to keep up, but really smart, driven, talented people that cared a lot about what we were doing. And then I realized I'm sitting in my home office in the middle of the night, completely isolated from the rest of the world. And I realized that's what's making me fail. I'm not surrounded by successful, driven, like-minded people. Okay? You understand? And so I don't know what I would do without you guys. And I can't imagine it would be good. So like if I stop doing these webinars, it's because I'm just fully retired. I'll just say goodbye and I won't do anything anymore. I don't know what I would do. Race cars. I'd probably become a race car driver or something. Okay. But there just wouldn't be, it'd be like this complete void. Like there wouldn't be anything else. It would be just everything would be over. I'm either dead or I just decided I just don't want to work anymore. I'm just going to not do this. It's fun. It's interesting, but I couldn't make enough money at Forex to even make it worth my time or make it interesting anymore. Okay. Right? Yeah. So I'm not quite there. I'm not quite where imagine if you made $1 million a month trading Forex and it wasn't enough. Like it didn't matter. At some point you just take your money, invest it wisely into, very risk-free investments or nearly risk-free investments that pay you an income. And you're like, I'm going to have to figure out a way to live on only $20 million a year from my bond portfolio. And then, so when you get to that situation, yeah, maybe I'll just let's go find something else. Maybe I'd like to be a poet, maybe. But we're not quite there yet. Okay, we're not quite there yet. I still love Forex. It's still the best thing for me. I'm still interested. I still want to get better. I still want to grow. I still have plans. I would like for 20 or 30 of you guys to work for me. All right, here's my my next plan. I want 20 or 30 of you guys to work for me at a hedge fund. So I want 20 or 30 people that are really, really, really talented, successful, driven, focused traders that can produce a consistent return with low drawdowns and low volatility. And then I would like for the group of us to trade it. I have a vision where we can trade it unlike any other hedge fund can trade it. And I'll bring in a ton of money, more money than you could ever dream of. And we'll trade it. And once a year, we'll push a yellow Lamborghini into the ocean and turn it into a diving reef. And people from all over the world will come to our Lamborghini parking lot under the sea, and we'll all scuba dive around our yellow Lambos. Right? And we'll have a kelp forest of yellow Lamborghinis, and it'll be fun. Joe's like, I hate Lambos. Yeah, if you've ever been in one, everything's broken. By the way, you get in your Lamborghini and everything, the mirrors are falling off. You're like, oh yeah, the mirrors don't work, but it's fast, right? So, anyways. So that's what I'd like for us to do. I think it'd be very interesting. I've been looking for a long time, though, and I haven't found my crew of 20. I've been looking, I've been searching, sort of like, I feel like I'm Dr. Dre searching for a white guy that can rap. And one day you walk into a club and you see Eminem on stage. Okay. So anyways, I'm Dr. Dre looking for a white guy that can actually rap. So anyways, I think I babbled on too long today, but sorry, I'm in a weird mood, I guess. I'm not quite sleeping enough. So anyways, if I was rude, I apologize. I don't know. I feel like I need to apologize for something. I'm in a stretch week. This is a very difficult week for me. So thank you for helping me getting through it. Thank you for being patient. I know some of you guys are still waiting for the template, the update to the template. Once again, most people have it. Some people don't. So I hired someone new that said they would fix it. Says he was an expert, been working on it for forever. He's totally an expert. So I fire the other programmer, hire the new one. Then nothing happens for 2 or 3 days. I'm like, "What's up, bitch? Where's my stuff?" And he's like, "Oh, I can't do it now. I don't have time. I'm sorry." I'm like, "What? I fired somebody. I fired somebody because you said you would do it. And now you're not going to do it? What a jerk." So I'm gonna, I don't know. Anyway, so I got to find somebody new. Really sad. What kind of person does that, huh? Yeah, I can't make fun of Queen Beatrix. But by the way, yeah, Maximus. You know, I love the Dutch. I have a lot of Dutch friends, and I love the history that the Dutch have had, and actually Holland is a place I actually haven't visited, and I'm fascinated just with the economy and such. I mean, Holland's such a different place. I would never make fun of the Dutch, right? They have the best pony parks. Everybody knows that. In fact, only a Dutch person would understand that joke. So anyways, I gotta go, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for everything. Make sure you open an account up at tradersway.com. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, and make sure you leave a comment, and make sure that you know I do care about you. I do want you to succeed, and that's really why I'm still here. I'd like you to be more successful. I'd like me to be more successful. So let's try to be more successful together, huh? Yeah. Yeah, get some Z's. No, I'm not reading. I'm not complaining about that. I got so much to do. I just feel overwhelmed. That's all. I'll see you guys tomorrow.